Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a simple quarter worth only 25 cents. But what if that same coin could actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Today we are diving into three ordinary-looking coins that many people spend every day without a second thought. The 2005, 2006, and 2008 versions of the famous United States quarter dollar. These coins were part of one of the most popular coin programs in American history, the 50-state quarters program, and later the America the Beautiful quarters program. But here is the shocking truth. Some of these quarters contain rare mint marks, hidden errors, and special varieties that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. And the craziest part is that many people still have these coins sitting in jars, wallets, or loose change without realizing their real value. So before you spend another quarter, make sure you watch this video until the end, because one of these 2005, 2006, or 2008 quarters in your pocket might actually be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The 2008 quarter dollar might look like an ordinary coin that people spend every day without thinking twice, but what if I told you that some of these quarters can actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors? Yes, you heard that right. A small coin that many people carry in their pockets could secretly be a valuable treasure. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2008 United States quarter, and why some versions of this coin have become highly wanted by collectors around the world. In 2008, the United States Mint was continuing one of the most popular coin programs in American history, known as the 50-state quarters program. This program began in 1999 and continued until 2008. Every year, 5 new quarters were released, each representing a different U.S. state with a unique design. By the time 2008 arrived, collectors were already extremely excited because it was the final year of the famous state quarter series. The 5 states honored in 2008 were Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, Alaska, and Hawaii. Each of these quarters tells a unique story through its design, making them very attractive to collectors. Let's start with the Oklahoma quarter. The design features the beautiful scissor-tailed flycatcher bird flying above Indian blanket wildflowers. This bird is actually the state bird of Oklahoma. The coin celebrates the natural beauty of the state and its wildlife. Millions were minted, but collectors always search for perfect condition coins or rare mint errors that can increase the value dramatically. Next comes the New Mexico quarter. This design shows a map of the state with the famous Zia sun symbol. Around the map, you can see the words Land of Enchantment, which is the state nickname. The Zia symbol is extremely important in Native American culture, representing harmony and balance. Because of the detailed design, some coins were struck with slight minting variations that collectors love to hunt for. Then we have the Arizona quarter. This coin shows the Grand Canyon in the background with a saguaro cactus in the foreground. The design beautifully captures the dramatic landscape of the state. Arizona is famous worldwide for the Grand Canyon, one of the most visited natural wonders on Earth. The quarter became instantly popular among collectors and travelers who love national parks and American landscapes. Now we come to one of the most famous coins of the 2008 series, the Alaska quarter. This coin shows a massive grizzly bear catching a salmon from rushing water. It represents the incredible wildlife and wilderness of Alaska. Many collectors consider this one of the most powerful designs in the entire state quarter program. High-grade Alaska quarters are especially valuable because collectors want the design to appear sharp and detailed. Finally, we reach the Hawaii quarter, which is historically very special. It features King Kamehameha I pointing toward the islands with the words Wa Mauke'ea Oka Aina Ikapono, meaning the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. King Kamehameha I was the ruler who united the Hawaiian Islands into one kingdom. This design celebrates Hawaiian history and culture, making it one of the most meaningful state quarters ever produced. But here is where things start to get truly exciting. Even though millions of these quarters were made, a few rare versions can be extremely valuable. Coin collectors search for something called mint errors. These are mistakes that happen during the coin production process. For example, some quarters might have a double die error. This happens when the design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a slightly doubled appearance on letters or numbers. When collectors find this type of error on a 2008 quarter, the value can jump dramatically. Another rare possibility is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly positioned during minting. The design may appear shifted to one side, leaving a blank area on the coin. These unusual coins are highly collectible because they are unique mistakes from the mint. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the metal disc used to make a coin. Occasionally, a quarter might accidentally be struck on a blank meant for another coin. When this happens, the weight and appearance become very unusual, and collectors can pay large amounts of money for such pieces. Condition also plays a huge role in value. Coins that are in perfect or near-perfect condition are graded by professional companies like the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company. These organizations carefully examine coins and give them a grade based on their condition. A coin graded MS-67 or higher is considered extremely high quality. When a 2008 state quarter receives such a grade, collectors may be willing to pay hundreds of dollars or even more depending on the demand. Some special collector versions were also made using proof strikes. Proof coins are produced with polished dies and specially prepared blanks. They have mirror-like surfaces and extremely sharp details. Proof coins were not meant for circulation, but were sold directly to collectors by the mint. Over time, these proof coins can also become very valuable, especially if they remain in perfect condition. The excitement of coin collecting often comes from the possibility that a normal-looking coin might secretly be worth far more than its face value. People sometimes discover valuable coins in pocket change, old jars, or inherited collections. Imagine finding a coin worth hundreds of dollars while simply checking your spare change. That is one of the reasons coin collecting is so thrilling. The 2008 quarter also marks the end of an era. After the state quarter program finished, the United States Mint introduced a new series called the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010 and honored national parks and historic sites across the country. But the state quarter series remains one of the most beloved coin programs ever created. Today, millions of collectors around the world continue searching for rare and high-grade examples of the 2008 quarters. Some people build complete sets of all 50 states, while others specialize in error coins or top-graded pieces. Auctions and coin shows regularly feature these coins, and prices can sometimes surprise even experienced collectors. If you ever come across a 2008 quarter, don't ignore it. Take a close look at the design, the mint mark, and the condition. Check for unusual details, doubling, off-center strikes, or anything that looks different from a normal coin. Sometimes the smallest difference can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is also about history, art, and culture. Every coin tells a story about the time and place where it was created. The 2008 state quarters capture the spirit of 5 unique states and represent the final chapter of a historic coin program that fascinated millions of people. So the next time you see a quarter in your pocket, remember that it might be more than just 25 cents. It could be a tiny piece of history, or even a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. If you enjoy discovering rare coins and learning their incredible stories, keep exploring your change because you never know when the next shocking and valuable coin might appear right in your hand. If you think a simple 25-cent coin cannot be valuable, then today's story might completely change your mind. Imagine finding a small coin in your pocket that most people spend without even looking at. Yet collectors around the world are searching for certain versions of this coin and are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Today we are talking about the fascinating and sometimes shocking story behind the 2006 quarter-dollar coin from the United States. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but hidden within this coin's history are rare varieties, collector demand, and mistakes from the mint that have turned some of these small coins into valuable treasures. The modern quarter dollar that Americans use today is officially known as the Washington quarter. The design originally appeared in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. His portrait appears on the front side of the coin, and for decades the design remained mostly unchanged. However, everything changed in 1999 when the United States Mint started one of the most popular coin programs in history, called the 50-State Quarters Program. This program released a new quarter design for each U.S. state, and it quickly became a worldwide collecting sensation. By the time 2006 arrived, the program had already become a massive success. Millions of people were collecting quarters, checking their change, and trying to complete their state collections. The year 2006 featured 5 different state designs: Nevada, Nebraska, Colorado, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Each coin represented the culture, nature, or history of its state. But what many people don't realize is that some 2006 quarters were struck with unusual mint errors or special conditions that make them extremely valuable today. Let's start with the Nevada quarter, one of the most recognizable designs from 2006. The coin shows wild horses running across the desert landscape with mountains in the background and the famous nickname, the Silver State. For most people, it is simply another coin, but collectors pay special attention to coins produced in different mint locations. The United States Mint produced these quarters at 3 major facilities: Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, Denver coins have a D, and San Francisco coins have an S. The San Francisco coins were usually made for collectors and sometimes contain silver. This is where the story becomes interesting. Some 2006 quarters were struck using 90% silver at the San Francisco Mint for special collector sets. These silver quarters look almost identical to normal coins, but they are much more valuable because of the precious metal content and limited production. While a regular 2006 quarter is worth only 25 cents, a silver version in perfect condition can sell for $20, $30, or even $50 depending on its grade. But the real excitement in coin collecting comes from mistakes. Yes, mistakes made during the minting process can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. These are known as mint errors, and some of them are extremely rare. One example is the famous double die error, where the design is accidentally stamped twice slightly off-center, creating a shadow or doubled effect on letters or images. If a 2006 quarter has this type of error, collectors can pay hundreds of dollars for it. Another rare and fascinating error is called an off-center strike. During the minting process, if the blank coin moves slightly before being stamped, part of the design will be missing while another part appears stretched or shifted. These coins look unusual and dramatic, and collectors love them because every error is unique. Some off-center 2006 quarters have sold for more than $100 depending on how strong the error is. Even more shocking are coins with missing layers. Modern American quarters are not made entirely from silver anymore. Instead, they are made using a copper core with a nickel outer layer. If something goes wrong during production and the outer layer is missing, the coin may appear copper-colored. These are called missing clad layer errors, and they can be worth hundreds of dollars to collectors who search for rare mint mistakes. The 2006 Colorado quarter is another design that captures collectors' attention. It features a dramatic image of the Rocky Mountains with the phrase, "Colorful Colorado." While millions were produced, collectors still examine every coin carefully because small differences or errors can create huge value. A perfectly preserved example graded by professional services can sometimes sell for much higher prices than ordinary circulated coins. Another exciting design from 2006 is the Nebraska quarter, which shows a covered wagon traveling west with Chimney Rock in the background. This coin celebrates the historic pioneer trails that helped shape American history. While most examples are common, collectors sometimes discover coins with unusual die cracks, doubled letters, or other minting defects. These tiny details may look insignificant to a casual observer, but to a dedicated collector, they can mean the difference between a common coin and a valuable collectible. Then we have the North Dakota quarter, featuring two bison standing in a beautiful prairie landscape with the sun setting behind them. Bison are iconic symbols of the American frontier, and the design was chosen to represent the natural heritage of the state. Many collectors love this design not only for its beauty, but also because some high-grade examples have sold for impressive prices at coin auctions. Finally, the South Dakota quarter displays Mount Rushmore along with a pheasant and wheat, symbolizing the state's agriculture and wildlife. Mount Rushmore itself features the carved faces of 4 famous American presidents, including George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. This powerful imagery makes the coin popular among collectors and history lovers alike. Now here is the surprising truth. Many valuable coins are not discovered by professional collectors, but by ordinary people checking their pocket change. Someone might receive a coin from a shop, put it in a jar at home, and years later realize it is worth far more than 25 cents. Stories like this happen more often than you might think, and they are one of the reasons coin collecting remains such an exciting hobby. Another factor that affects value is coin condition. Collectors use a grading scale that ranges from heavily worn coins to perfect uncirculated examples. Coins that were never used in everyday transactions often have sharp details and shiny surfaces, making them much more desirable. A 2006 quarter in ordinary circulated condition may only be worth its face value, but a flawless uncirculated coin could be worth many times more. Auction records show that rare error coins or perfect graded examples sometimes reach impressive prices. Collectors compete to own the best examples, and the competition can drive prices higher. Although most 2006 quarters are common, the possibility of finding a rare error keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins and bank boxes every day. So the next time you receive a quarter in your change, take a moment to look at it carefully. Might seem like a small and ordinary coin, but it could hold a fascinating story or even hidden value. The 2006 quarter dollar reminds us that history, art, and sometimes even mistakes can transform a simple piece of metal into a collectible treasure. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about discovering history, learning about different places, and experiencing the excitement of finding something rare where others see nothing special. And who knows? One day you might look down at a coin in your hand and realize you are holding something that collectors around the world are searching for. Because sometimes, the most valuable treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. The year 2005 produced 4 different state quarters, and some of them have rare varieties, mint errors, and collectible conditions that can make them far more valuable than their face value. So before you ignore that old quarter sitting in your wallet, listen carefully because you might already be holding a tiny treasure. Back in 1999, the United States Mint launched the famous 50 state quarters program. The idea was simple but brilliant. Release 5 new quarters every year, each representing a different U.S. state with a unique design. This project quickly became one of the most successful coin programs in history. Millions of people who had never collected coins before suddenly started checking their change. By 2005, the excitement was at its peak, and the coins released that year were especially popular among collectors. The first quarter released in 2005 represented California. This coin shows the legendary conservationist John Muir standing in Yosemite Valley with a giant sequoia tree behind him. At first glance, it looks like just another ordinary coin. But certain versions of this quarter, especially those with mint errors or in perfect condition, have sold for much higher prices than expected. Some collectors have paid hundreds of dollars for uncirculated examples or coins graded at extremely high levels by professional grading companies. Next came the 2005 quarter honoring Minnesota. The design features a peaceful lake scene with a fisherman casting a line while a loon swims in the water. This coin is famous among collectors for a very unusual mint error called the extra tree variety. On some coins, small raised lines near the trees make it look like additional trees appeared in the background. These varieties became extremely popular with collectors, and depending on the strength of the error and the condition of the coin, some examples have sold for impressive prices. Imagine finding a quarter in your pocket that collectors are hunting all over the country. Another exciting coin from that year is the quarter representing Oregon. The design shows the famous landmark Crater Lake, one of the deepest lakes in the world. The detail on this coin is beautiful, with calm water surrounded by cliffs. Most Oregon quarters are worth just face value, but collectors are always searching for coins with striking errors, unusual luster, or extremely high mint state grades. When a coin like this receives a top grade from a professional service, its value can rise dramatically. The final quarter of 2005 celebrated Kansas. The design shows a bison standing proudly with a sunflower, the official state flower. The animal on the coin is the iconic American bison, one of the most recognizable symbols of the American plains. While this coin might appear common, collectors still search carefully for minting mistakes, double details, and coins preserved in perfect condition. Now, here is where things get really interesting. When coins are produced in massive numbers, small mistakes can happen during the minting process. These mistakes are called mint errors, and collectors absolutely love them because they are rare and unusual. Some examples include off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, or die cracks. Even a tiny difference can turn a normal coin into a collectible item that people are willing to pay serious money for. Condition also plays a huge role in value. A quarter that has been used in circulation for years will show scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. But a coin that has been preserved carefully might still look brand new decades later. Professional grading companies examine these coins under magnification and assign a grade on a scale that goes up to mint state 70. The closer a coin is to that perfect grade, the more collectors are willing to pay. For example, certain 2005 quarters graded at extremely high levels have sold at auctions for hundreds of dollars. While most people will never find a coin worth thousands, it is still exciting to think that a small piece of metal you almost ignored could turn into something valuable. Another reason collectors love 2005 quarters is the historical moment they represent. The State Quarters program brought coin collecting into the mainstream. Schools used the coins to teach geography. Families tried to complete full sets. People across the country began searching through their change. For many collectors today, these quarters are nostalgic reminders of that era. If you want to check whether your 2005 quarter could be valuable, there are a few things you should look for. First, check the mint mark. Coins from this year were produced in Philadelphia and Denver, each marked with a small letter P or D. Sometimes one mint produces fewer coins or slightly different varieties. Second, examine the coin closely for unusual features. Look for doubled letters, strange lines, missing details, or anything that looks different from a normal coin. A magnifying glass can help reveal tiny details that are impossible to see with the naked eye. Third, check the condition of the coin. If it looks shiny, sharp, and almost untouched, it might be worth getting evaluated by a professional grading service. Collectors often pay more for coins that look perfect. And finally, remember that the thrill of coin collecting is not only about money, it is also about discovery. Every coin tells a story about history, art, and the people who designed it. The 2005 quarters represent landscapes, wildlife, and historical figures that shaped the United States. So the next time you receive a quarter as change, take a moment to look at it carefully. That small coin might be one of the beautiful designs from 2005. It might even have a rare variety or error that collectors are searching for right now. Hidden treasures are not always buried in the ground. Sometimes they are hiding quietly in your pocket, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And who knows, the next time you check your change, that ordinary 2005 United States quarter dollar might turn out to be the most surprising coin you have ever found.